Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Millie, and along with my mom, I am the co-founder of Art With Me shop on Etsy. We sell stickers, children's toys, bookmarks, button pins, and other accessories to fulfill your creative needs. In today's video, I will be talking about my thoughts on Affinity's new announcement and what this could mean for artists and creatives like me who use and depend on Adobe to make products. So why did I get Adobe in the first place? Will I keep or cancel my subscription? What is Affinity's big announcement? And will this change design forever? All these questions will be answered in this video. Let's dive right in. So I got Adobe because I needed it for school. I'm currently in college studying for a degree in visual arts. Two of the required courses were Intro to Computer Graphics and Advanced Computer Graphics. The software we used in both of these classes was Adobe, specifically Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. We had to learn all of those. They have the software already installed on the computer labs, but outside of class, they were booked most of the time for other courses. We also got homework assignments, and I couldn't do all the work within the 2 hours we were given in class time. So this meant I had to install the Adobe suite on my computer. So I currently have the student plan, which used to be $21 a month, which includes tax. What I didn't know was that they would raise the price after a year. This new price is $37.21 a month, and we have been paying this since November of 2024. So this is the problem. I have a small business, and there are some days we get orders and some days that we don't. When you have a huge subscription, that actually takes away some or most of the profit we make for when we do get orders. It's like this paradox where you depend on this service to make the products, which makes profit, but that service is also taking away the profit. So what do I gain out of this? I'm familiar with the software, but is the effort or the amount of work that I make worth the $37 monthly charge? I've also really grown to despise the subscription model in general, so much that I canceled my Apple Music subscription and opted for this. This is an iPod. I do have Spotify, but only the free version, and it's for finding music to actually put on this. And it's also for sharing my podcast with family members and friends. Now about Affinity. I've heard of Affinity before, and I was even considering getting it. But this was when I was still taking those classes that required Adobe. Then the Affinity announcement came around. And I do have a few things to say about that. Affinity was originally a pay once, own forever software, just like Procreate. Then Affinity was purchased by Canva in March of 2024. When I heard about this had me and a couple others worried because Canva has a subscription tier and an AI included. Will these be engraved into our software? I then found out about the announcement from another YouTuber I follow who covers it, so I decided to check it out. And just, wow, Affinity is free forever. No subscriptions and no one-time payments. Just no payments in general. I'm like, what? Is this real? But what is the catch? Is there any catch? Well, yes, but it depends. You do have to create a free account to download Affinity, but there is an option saying whether you want to opt into sharing your data with the company. I unchecked this option, and I was still able to get the software installed and running on my computer. There is a paid tier, but that's only if you have a Canva Pro subscription, which can give you access to the optional AI features. Now going back to the announcement itself, a feature that really caught my attention right away is how you are able to import Photoshop files, also known as PSD files, seamlessly into Affinity. Back then, I was so tempted to just quit Adobe, but I couldn't because I was worried I would lose all my files and all my work. Now, I will never have to worry about that. The entire artwork will be intact, including the layers. And that's what I was scared of losing the most. I have been testing the Affinity software since it came out, and it runs great on my 2015 MacBook Pro. I haven't really had any instances of glitching or lagging, which is surprising because the software just came out a few days ago. It is very similar to Photoshop. In fact, some of the keyboard controls and navigational items are the same, but the ones that have changed are easier to memorize. Let's say I want to transform an object on Photoshop. Instead of Command or Control T for transform, on Affinity, you press V. I also like the interface of Affinity way better than Photoshop. I don't know what it is, it just looks more clean, organized, professional, and just easier to understand. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe it's because I'm using a software that doesn't take away my profits. I don't get that feeling of whether my work or the amount of work I make will be worth the $37 a month or almost $450 a year. That's insane. Now, I have come to a conclusion. This took a lot of thought, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna cancel Adobe, and I'm gonna work completely on Affinity. I only really used Adobe for Photoshop anyways. I'll have to find an alternative to After Effects though, but that will be easy to find. Let me know any alternatives in the comments below. By using Affinity and taking advantage of its powerful and free capabilities, I'm convinced this will completely change the game. This will change design forever. Please, I am begging you, you have to try it. It is free. It runs Mac and Windows, and it will be arriving on the iPad soon, as they say. Unfortunately, it does not run on Linux, but I'm hoping it does and attracts more people to get into the software. If you are a small business owner, an artist, a photographer, a designer, even a regular software user who is tired of paying for these subscriptions, you must get Affinity. I cannot recommend it enough. This is a breath of fresh air for us artists and designers out there. I'm going to cancel my Adobe subscription right now. Don't forget to visit my Etsy shop at artwithmeshop.etsy.com and to follow my socials. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.